Hi again. This is another revision quickie in regards to the different concepts relating to the totals, averages, and marginals. In other words, it relates to your topic relating to the products, that is the total product or average product, marginal product, and likewise you have the learning of the formulas and the key concepts relating to costs and revenues. And what I've tried to do in this particular one is a little attempt to show how almost everything is so much the same, except if you can relate the idea to which concept is being referred to. So when you talk about the total, as you can see it here, if you talk about the product, it's the total product. The total product is nothing but the output. It's nothing but the quantity, right? So it is nothing but the output or the quantity, just the same thing. Average is each time, whenever you talk of the word average, remember to say the word per unit. So what is average product? Average product is the per unit output, you could say the output per unit of input. How much is the output would I be able to produce given a certain amount of input each time per one single unit of input? That's the idea. And naturally, again, the inputs, we remember we have done this before, fixed and variable. So naturally, what is changing, or the input, you could put it in context of the labor or capital, whatever you are looking at. Overall, what is your average output relating to your inputs per unit of your inputs? Marginal relates to each time the word marginal, you should remind yourselves the word additional. What is additional? What is the extra? What is the change because of every single unit of input being changed? So it is the change in the total output for a change in the input. So per unit input changes, how much it is going to lead to the change in the output. That's your total product. Now, only the concept, please remember, only the concept of product relates to inputs. Everything else, that is the costs and the revenues, they relate to the output. They relate to, in other words, this output. This is the output, right? We said that a while ago. So this is what it is. Relating to the second concept, likewise for costs, it is again the same. You're talking of the cost. The total cost is equal to fixed cost plus the total variable cost. That relates to how much is the variable input and the fixed inputs. The money you pay for them is your cost, and therefore fixed cost plus variable cost. Average cost is equal to the total cost divided by the output. So average cost is basically, again, cost per unit of output. For every single unit of output, what's my total cost? What is my cost? That's average cost. Now, if you look at this average, this is average fixed cost. And if you really look at it very carefully, it is average fixed cost is the cost that I incur on my fixed, inputs, you could say, per unit of my output. So it's the total fixed cost divided by the output. Again, this is the same Q or TP or output. Either ways you can remember it. It's the same idea. Average variable cost is the total variable cost divided by, again, the output. So this is so much the same. I've deliberately kept the same color code so that you can understand that it is almost, just the numerator is changing here. Just the numerator is changing here in case you need to, remember these formulas. Of course, of late with the online exams, you have most of the times the open book exams, which makes it easier for you not to remember anything in that sense, but conceptually you should understand this. The next is the change in, again, marginal is all about the change in the total cost divided by the change in output. You could also view my lecture on costs explicitly if you want to go a little more in depth. And likewise, we did in the revenue section that also have uploaded as a lecture, but total revenue and what you talk about, the average revenue is nothing but the price. And the marginal revenue is, again, the change in total revenue due to a change in output. In terms of the diagrams, I'll just try and show you a very quick ones here. So when you talk about the total product, it will remind you like that of the total revenue. I wish I could just bring it down and show the total revenue line also goes like that, isn't it? So this is total revenue. No, this is, I'm talking about the products. So naturally it is the total product here. Basically the product initially increases and after a certain point it starts increasing at a lower rate. We call it the law of diminishing marginal returns, and then it starts falling. This is literally a quickie, so I'm literally going fast, people. Bear with me on this. Yeah, and then it is about the marginal. Marginal was marginal product, and this was your average product. I'll leave this average and marginal product drawn so that I can also take you through the idea of average and marginal, average and marginal costs also. So average cost is like this and marginal cost is like this. So if you really look at it, it is just a lateral inversion. So as your productivity goes up, your cost goes down, right? As your productivity goes up, your cost goes down, right? This is what we are looking at. And as your productivity goes down, your cost goes up. And that's typically the relation each time. Each time we have done this before, how averages are actually affected by the totals and how totals in turn actually are affected by the additionals. So each time we do the relationship between the averages, and I do this. So I write always MP, 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 right? This is the relationship between the average product and the marginal product. Marginal product increases, average product rises. Marginal product is less than average product would start falling. That's what it is here. Whereas in context of the costs, if you look at it, this is what the relationship is. And you need this relationship between the costs always. It is pretty much the same idea. I can just change the color to talk of what I'm saying here. Here it could be maybe, average cost and marginal cost. Same thing. I'm writing the same thing. So as long as the marginal cost is below the average cost, cost is falling, as you can see it here. And the moment marginal cost is more than average cost starts rising. The two are equal. That is the point where the costs are minimum. Costs are minimum where the marginal cost intersects the average cost curve, or where the marginal cost is equal to average cost. And you would definitely need this knowledge for your market structures in order to ascertain the efficiency. I can give you, this is called technical efficiency, the lowest possible cost. Okay, if a business produces at that, it is being very efficient. That's it for your formula sheet. Maybe I'll put it all on a smaller scale. You should be able to look at it so that, and you can make a note of it. Take a snapshot, and that's what it is, all about the costs, revenues, and the total product. I'll stop here.